Hello, everybody. Well, in order to catch up on recent news, we'll have a good old gossip session and we'll return to deep dives later in the week. I apologize for the background noise, but there's no way I can switch off the fans as it is indeed 42 degrees in my hometown today. Well, the thing which it appears most people are talking about is old Harry wanting his royal med protection back. Well, first and foremost, I love how Trevor Cole described the situation. Harry and Meghan have been making donations and doing charity work among Black Americans for the past 2 years. You guys know the Melbas and MLK celebrations, etc. But now he has the audacity to want to claim police protection in Britain? Really? It is so ridiculous. It is actually funny. Yet Harry is so serious about his claim that he even paid his lawyer to write to British Parliament about it, calling it a pre-action protocol letter. Or in other words, in plain English, here is our letter of demand. If you do not comply, we'll sue. Here is old Ginger Winger once again threatening to sue Her Majesty's government. Best of all is that Harry is demanding the security for when he visits the UK. Really? Doesn't he get it? Get that the public who is funding the police does not want him back on British soil. They do not care to have him back. Nobody cares enough whether he ever goes back to the UK or not to want to support him in any way, whether it involves money or not. So basically, the consensus is that if Harry won't return to Britain unless he gets police or special forces protection, well, then he can stay at home in California. There are, however, some disturbing things in the lawyer's letter, and if I may, I would like to run through them with you very quickly. A part of the letter reads, Prince Harry inherited a security risk at birth for life. He remains sixth in line to the throne, served 2 tours in Afghanistan, and in recent years his family has been subjected to well documented neo Nazi and extremist threats. Well, Harry may have inherited a security risk at birth, but is it really for life? How does Harry or his lawyer work that one out? Yes, due to his social standing and his family's financial standing, he may have been at risk of kidnapping and or an act of terror. But that is just it. It was due to his position in the royal family and their financial position. Kidnapping is a huge risk for the perpetrators, particularly in modern times with internet security and traffic cameras, etc., becoming more and more commonplace and more widespread. Kidnappers are highly unlikely to consider kidnapping someone or his family who has an unstable income and very little left of his savings, and whatever is left of his inheritances tied up in a trust. An act of terror is unlikely as well, as Harry is no longer a working member of the royal family and thus has no influence on any other member of the family or any decision making. A potential terrorist is more likely to target someone of consequence and decision making power. So, sorry, old Harry. Whatever danger Harry and Meghan perceive themselves to be in, thus has more to do with their own actions. And thus, all they need to do not to be in any more danger than the average Joe soap is to shut up and stop meddling in politics and controversial subjects. Isn't that easy peasy, Harry? As his lawyer specifically mentions him still being sixth in line to the throne, he could also abdicate, resign, or return his titles and place in the line of succession. Not only will that eliminate that perceived risk, but we all will be very grateful if he does that. Then, what I find even more concerning, though, are the supposed new Nazi and extremist threats. The definition of new Nazi is as follows: a person who belongs to a political organization whose beliefs are inspired by or reminiscent of Nazism. Delving deeper into the new Nazi ideology, new Nazis in the United States and the United Kingdom are likely to display certain insignia and symbols, not only on flags and stickers, but often also as tattoos depicting symbols such as the swastika or the Prussian eagle. In new Nazi ideology, Slavs, black people, and Arabs are lower on the racial hierarchy, and their particular hatred is also targeted towards the Jews, whom new Nazis believe to be a threat to the Aryan race. Now, Harry and Meghan are not Slavic, black, or Arab, and neither are they Jewish. So I have no idea why they would be targeted or threatened by new Nazis or extremists of any sort. I have no idea whatsoever. If there are any truth in this statement, why isn't the Montecito or Santa Barbara police and the FBI investigating those threats and or people? Why hasn't Harry or Meghan published copies of or more specific details on those threats? If these new Nazi threats are so well documented, then surely they will not have any problem providing us with proof of these threats. Where is it, Harry? Seeing is indeed believing. And I'm sorry, I do not believe this statement of Harry's lawyer at all. And I actually find it offensive if it's not true, because then the question arises as to who are they referring to as new Nazis or extremists? Are they referring to the same people as those targeted by Christopher Bosey? If that is true, then there is a huge problem. And I would then recommend that we start a fundraising campaign to take Harry and his lawyer to court for defamation and slander, because disliking Meghan and Harry and their actions is a far cry from being a new Nazi or an extremist. I therefore think that it is of the utmost importance that this statement by Harry's lawyer be explained by him or Harry. If these statements are indeed unfounded or false accusations, it could mean that Harry and his lawyer are actually endangering others. The lawyer then goes on to say, while his role within the institution has changed, his profile as a member of the royal family has not, and nor has the threat to him and his family. Well, again, that is easily remedied. All Harry needs to do then is to surrender his titles and ask Buckingham Palace to take him off the royal website. Then he will have absolutely no royal profile left to worry about. Okay, and then he writes, the Duke and Duchess personally fund a private security team for their family, yet that security cannot replicate the necessary police protection needed whilst in the UK. In the absence of such protection, Prince Harry and his family are unable to return to his home. Oh my word. Firstly, if their privately funded security cannot protect them, then perhaps they should stop paying them and find another company with better trained people, don't you think? Secondly, none of the Queen's other grandchildren, with the exception of William, a future king, has security. We regularly see Eugenie, Beatrice, Zora, and Peter out and about with their children, the Queen's great grandchildren, and without security. We only seen Beatrice a couple of days ago out with her baby shopping without a single security or bodyguard in sight. Then the letter goes on at length about Harry being prepared to pay for his police protection, which is just plainly ridiculous. The police are funded by the taxpayers, by the nation, and cannot be sold to an individual. Anyway, but then the second to last paragraph really caused some ridicule, and quite rightly so. The lawyer writes, during his last visit to the UK in July to unveil a statue in honor of his late mother, his security was compromised due to the absence of police protection whilst leaving a charity event. Well, the charity event they are referring to was a well child garden party and afternoon tea at Kew Gardens in West London on the 30th of June 2021. Well, here are photographs of Harry arriving and Harry at the event and Harry leaving. Firstly, do you see him being swamped or chased by paparazzi? Well, I don't. But more than that, articles said that Harry surprised sick children at the event. Here are a few headings to different articles. Harry surprises sick kids at Wild Child Awards just hours before Will's showdown. That's from The Sun on the 30th of June 2021. Prince Harry drops in for surprise visit to Wild Child Awards, and that is from another paper on the same date. Well, if it was a surprise visit, how did the paparazzi know that he would be there? Who told them? The organizers or Harry and Meghan themselves, or perhaps, and this is just an idea, perhaps the paparazzi were not there for Harry at all, but instead for someone like Ed Sheeran, who attended as well. Yes, Ed Sheeran is actually a celebrity as well, and it's quite plausible that the photographers were actually there for the event and other celebrities and prominent socialites attending. We all know this letter has Meghan written all over it, but Harry is either fast becoming totally delusional and paranoid and losing his mind, or he must be extremely embarrassed by the bullshit which is put out in his name. Whatever the case may be, somehow this must stop. Somehow, somewhere, sometime, someone is going to get hurt because of all this BS these two are spinning. Whether it is a Mexiteer, a Sussex squad member, or one of the Harkles themselves, the fact remains that it is likely to be due to the lies and ridiculousness these two grifters are putting out there in order to stay in the news. It needs to stop now, and whatever it takes, be it a lawsuit against the Harkles or completely embarrassing them right out of the daily news. I don't know what the best remedy would be, but I do not wish to see anyone hurt or damaged any further by Harry and Meghan's reckless storytelling. I do think that regardless of it being the Jubilee year, these things should still be addressed, and that the appeal for Harry's titles to be removed and put in abeyance should be intensified. At least it will give him less media appeal when he is just Harry and not Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Anyway, guys, I am still catching up on news and emails, etc., and I'll use the weekend to catch up on more correspondence and get back to you all. So, until we meet again on the next video, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.